It is that time of year again. The Super Bowl is coming up. We know that we are going to have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs playing against each other. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this matchup, whether or not you feel that the AFC Championship game was officiated as well as it could have been, which probably not. This is the matchup that we got. So let's kind of break this down because when I look at this, I think there's a lot of different moving parts going on, but I've kind of come to who I think is going to be the winner. So first, let's start looking at the Eagles. Now we look at the Eagles. Jalen Hurts has been just phenomenal. He's having a great season. It's really kind of hard to believe that, what was it, 2 years ago, year ago, the Eagles were actually talking about getting rid of him, not thinking he was going to be their quarterback of the future. Well, he's definitely proven them wrong. They've got a really good defense, great rushing offense. They've got a 2-3-headed rushing attack. Got a great tight end. Their receiving weapons are really good too. So all around, they're pretty good. Now the knock on them has been a couple things. First of all, their schedule has not been the strongest as other people have played in the NFL. And that's true. But we also have to remember that Hurts has been injured a little bit throughout the year. So he hasn't been playing, even in this last game, wasn't playing up to his best possible standards. Now, the thing that's so scary about the Eagles, though, is that when Hurts isn't playing his best, they can still beat you because of their ground game. Their offensive line's great, and then their defense can be smothering too. So they're a really, really tough team. Just because maybe they didn't play the best opponents, they're still playing really, really well. So that, you can argue that all day. Yeah, they beat the 49ers team, who was undermanned and down to their fourth, fifth string quarterback. And I get that. I think 49ers were probably a little overrated anyway. Brock Purdy, that whole Cinderella story was going to have to end at some point, and it ending with him winning the Super Bowl was highly, highly unlikely, as good as that 49ers defense was. So we got those Eagles. I think they're deserving to be there. Beginning of the year, they were one of the 2 to 3 teams that I predicted would be in the NFC slot of the Super Bowl. I was still holding out hope it might be my Buccaneers, but Tom Brady didn't have that much magic left in him. So we've got the Eagles there. Then we've got the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are dangerous in their own right. They've been to the Super Bowl a couple times the past years. Seems like they're always in the AFC Championship game since they've had Patrick Mahomes. And he really is the key. You've got this Patrick Mahomes who, anytime you think you've got him sacked, you've got him stopped, he can go and just make magic happen. Now, with that though, the question becomes, is he going to be playing anywhere near 100%? Got that high ankle sprain in the AFC Championship game. No, even before the AFC Championship game, played through it in the AFC Championship game. But he clearly wasn't himself. He wasn't able to rush. And that's really one of the big things with Mahomes, is that even if you get him out of the pocket, you put in pressure on him, he can go and run for 30, 40, 50 yards down the field too. So you have to watch him. You almost have to spy him every time. If you don't have to spy Mahomes, though, makes it a little bit easier to defend. So that's something to watch, is see how healthy he's going to be. Then also, Travis Kelce. He popped up before the AFC Championship game with a back injury. He still played through it, but how healthy is he? Because you really need that tight end to be there. Now, when we talk about Kansas City, I think really the kind of unknown or untalked about is their running game. And when I say the running game, I really mean Jerick McKinnon. Now, that he has been phenomenal. He's not their starting running back. Arguably, maybe he's not even their second string running back. He's more of their third down passing back, but they started to get him more involved because he can take that ball and rip it for a 50-yard touchdown down the field. He makes great moves in transition. Is he the bell cow type of back? Probably not. But in this day and age, most teams are running a 2-back system, if not a 3-back system. He fits in really well and complements what the other backs don't have. So he is one to look out for. The other interesting thing about Kansas City is they really don't have a ton of receiving weapons, not compared to some of the other teams in the league. They did get Kadarius Toney. I'm waiting to see how he shapes up. He came out of Florida looking like just a surefire, almost like another Percy Harvin type of clone. Just did not make it work with the Giants for whatever reason. We've heard mixed reports about that, whether it was him, his attitude, whether it was the coaching staff. Whatever it was, he's done with the Giants. He's on Kansas City. He's taken some time to get ready. for their offense and be able to play, but he's also been injured. And it looked like he got injured in this last game as well. So if they had a Kadarius Toney at 100% who understood the playbook, I think Kansas City becomes very, very dangerous because he's also can be an extension of the run game. So we'll probably have to wait till next year to really see what he looks like. But at least if he's 75 to 80%, I think he can be a matchup problem in this Super Bowl for the Eagles. Kansas City defense, they're okay. They're not going to be top of the league. They're not going to be someone who necessarily is going to scare you, but look at how much pressure they've been able to put on quarterbacks, especially in the playoffs. They can do that. They can get some turnovers. So they're not terrible by any means. They're just not the number one overall defense. Kansas City is a really good team. I feel like they could beat anyone on any given day. However, they also can get beat by anyone on any given day. They seem to have two kinds of faces that they show in games, and it really just depends. So now we got the Eagles versus the Chiefs. Now, when it comes to this, the Eagles are going to try to run the ball just like they did against the 49ers. 49ers had the number 2 rush defense, and look what they did to them. I think they had, 3-4 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it was just crazy. They ran all over them. So why would they not do the same thing against the Chiefs? And then that also takes some pressure off of Hurts. He can pick some deep shots down the field. Now, when it comes to the Chiefs, they can do a little bit of everything. They can do some mid dink and dunk type of thing because they've got people who can take it. If you give them that little inch, they'll take that yard and they'll potentially go for 16. And then Mahomes always has that deep shot. They've got a lot of people who can catch the deep ball, but not one who always does it, which could be good or could be bad. It really just depends. What this means is that I think the first quarter or two is going to either go one or two ways. It's either going to be very low scoring or very high scoring. I think each of those teams are going to be feeling each other out. They're going to try to do some different things, and because of that, either it's going to be highly successful, and we're going to see like a 21-21 by the end of the second quarter, or we might see a 7-6 type score at halftime. In the end, I think if we take out anyone getting injured in the game, from where we're at this point, I think the Eagles are going to pull this out. Reason for that is overall they have a healthier roster. I think Hurts is farther along in his injury recovery than Mahomes is, and he's been able to do a lot more, but he also has a little bit more talent, I think, around him on the offense, and I think that's going to be the big difference. Plus, the Eagles' defense is better than the Chiefs' defense. That being said, I would not count Mahomes out. What I think is going to happen with this is, while the Eagles are going to win, it'll be close probably in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Mahomes will have some magic. I just don't think it'll be enough. He'll probably run out of time. So my prediction is the Eagles are going to win. I think the final score is going to be 31-24 Eagles, and they're going to pull away in the third quarter. So let's see if that happens, but that's who I've got.